Super Bowl time. No one better to catch up with than the three-time champion. Look at him, repping the product. Fox Sports, Mark Schlereth, Stink, great to see you. What do you got in front of you there? This is the one-stop Super Bowl shop. This isn't like, hey, here's your food. Hey, here's your TV. Hey, here's your content. You've got it all for us.
There's no question about it. And it all starts with a television set. You may not get to watch the GOAT this year, Tom Brady, play in the big game, but you can watch it on the GOAT of all television sets, 65-inch LG OLED C-Series. GOAT of all TVs, best-selling premium TV series in the United States, live sports, gaming, and streaming. And speaking of streaming, find all the hottest TV shows, live sports, including the big game, all on one device. That's TiVo Stream 4K, puts all the shows you love to stream from all the apps you love to stream them from in one convenient place. And then take your gathering and make it a party. Sync full color, smart light strips, millions of colors, rep your favorite team. Decorate your entertainment center, pair it with the Sync app powered by Savant, right out of the box, so easy to use. Lowe's and Lowe's.com for more information. Then no party's complete without guacamole. Good foods, chunky guacamole, simple ingredients, fresh hand-scooped avocados, nothing artificial. You can find them at your favorite grocery stores, Target and Costco. They got a great deal going on right now. Goodfoods.com, 15 winners. You sign up to win, they'll throw a party for 12 of your friends and family. Right there at goodfoods.com. So that's what I got going on here.
First class. Love it. Hey, Mark, let's talk football. Why did the Packers lose, Mark Schlereth? And very few people saw that coming. I would say no one, certainly not I.
Yeah, I thought it would be a close game. Hey, listen, San Francisco does a really good job running the football, mitigating the potential mistakes of their quarterback. And you saw their quarterback make several throws during the course of that game that should have probably been pick sixes. The Green Bay Packers didn't take advantage of it. But the bottom line is this. You give up returns. You give up a block punt for a touchdown. Special teams, you come playoff time, and it really is all three phases of the game. We always say it, and it becomes cliche. But, man, you've got to play. You've got to play defense. You've got to play offense, and you've got to play great special teams. And the Green Bay Packers were haunted by poor special teams all season long. And it finally came back to bite them, where their quarterback couldn't overcome. He couldn't cover those warts. And so that really is, to me, the biggest issue. They did not get enough production from people not named Devontae Adams. And offensively, they stalled out. You got to give a lot of credit to San Francisco. But I'm with you. I thought it'd be a close game. I thought Green Bay would win it. But obviously wasn't in the cards for the Packers.
Is Aaron guilty of leaning on Devontae too much?
I don't think that Aaron is. I mean, I think that other guys have got to present themselves as targets. I think that, Aaron in a lot of situations obviously wants to go to the guy that's the best receiver in football, the best matchup in football. And San Francisco did a good job of taking him away. So you do have to go, you do have to lean on other things, obviously, if those things are happening to you. But, they just didn't make plays. Offensively, they drove down that first drive. I thought, man, this is going to be something. The way they operated that first drive, and then they scored 3 more points for the rest of the game. So, a lot of different mistakes made along the way. And, there's a lot of different blame to be placed. But the bottom line is that offense, to me, is too potent to have that kind of production or lack thereof production.
Do you look at his 11-10 playoff record as a stain on the, quote unquote Rodgers legacy, no matter what he decides as far as his future?
Well, yeah. I mean, to me, it's always been the dynasty that never was. And listen, man, he's one of the greatest players I've ever watched play. Love watching Aaron Rodgers play. But at some point, you've got to be able to get it done come playoff time, and you want to sit at the kind of the quote unquote big boy table. You gotta have multiple rings to sit at that table. And at this point in his career, he doesn't. So yeah, it's it's one of those things that you always look back on and say, the yeah, but caveat. Yeah, he was one of the greatest regular season quarterbacks in the history of the National Football League, but the playoff record is not what it should be, or not what we think it should be.
See, I would say that Dan Marino, best guy I've ever seen throwing the football, never won a Super Bowl. But, I mean, they had no run game. Their defense wasn't great. Like 13 points. Like I think it's got to look a lot at 12 right now, despite how bad their special teams were all season long.
Yeah, you've got to be able to score more points than that. There's no question about it. And they have a running game. They have a scheme that takes pressure off of Aaron Rodgers. I think under the McCarthy era, there were a time late there where everything was on Aaron. Hey, just go orchestrate. Hey, just go find the best matchup. Hey, you just do it all. Like, they've got a scheme to where they don't have to put all that pressure on Aaron Rodgers. And they still weren't able to overcome that this year. So really disappointing finish to a great season for the Packers.
If you were advising him and he wants to keep playing, would you say go somewhere else or stay in Green Bay?
Well, I live in Denver where we're desperate for a quarterback. So I'd say go somewhere else. Do what Tom Brady did. Do what Peyton Manning did. Go finish your career somewhere else. But that's just selfishly because I want him in Denver. I think the best place to finish your career is in Green Bay. I still think you have an exceptional team, and you just got to figure it out come playoff time. So, but selfishly, I'd like him to go somewhere else.
What do you think happens with just pure speculation here? But what do you think happens with Tom?
Oh, I think he comes back and play. I mean, at 44 years old, he played as well, if not better, than he's ever played. I think he had 44 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. I mean, the guy was exceptional. And in that playoff game against the Rams, he was under duress. They were completely one-dimensional. He got hit. I mean, he got harassed. And he still found a way to tie that game up 27-27 late in the fourth quarter. They made some plays down the stretch. It was an amazing comeback because they got dominated for 4 quarters or three and a half quarters. And then they found a way to come back in that game. So he's playing great football right now. I hope he comes back.
If you could just bottom line what makes Brady 35-11 in the playoffs. I mean, everyone thought that game was over except for the 10% who realized that's Tom Brady. It's not over. It's 27-3. Like, how do you encapsulate what he does that's like made him himself?
Well, I mean, number one, he's got all the answers to the test. He with the motions and the shifts, he knows exactly what you're playing. They've got great players. Don't get me wrong. But I think that Tom Brady has just got a mentality about him, a toughness about him that basically permeates a football team. And, you talk to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and all those guys when Tom Brady came in, like his work ethic is second to none. His preparation is second to none. So when he's putting in the work, he wants to be coached hard. He wants the coaches to cuss him out. He wants all that stuff. Like, when he's putting up with it, you have to put up with it because he's Tom Brady. And it raised the level of everybody's play around him. And then, like I said, he just is passionate. He loves football. He loves being part of the process. I really, truly believe it's the only place that he can actually be a dude. Like he leaves that facility, man, and he's got to be Tom Brady, and and he's married to Giselle and all that stuff. He walks in the locker room, and he's just one of the guys, and I believe that's what keeps him young. And so I think he'll be back.
Did the Chiefs win the Super Bowl last Sunday?
Wow. Listen, the Rams and 49ers is an interesting matchup because the 49ers they've just matched up well with them. The Rams are like legitimately, at least on the defensive side of the ball, one of the most talented teams I've ever watched play. Aaron Donald, to me, is the best player in football. You've got Von Miller playing like he was young again, like when he was a Super Bowl MVP of Super Bowl 50. Leonard Floyd has played great. Jalen Ramsey's a great player. All that being said, I just think the Chiefs offensively and what Patrick Mahomes, the confidence that guy's got to be playing with right now, 13 seconds left in the divisional round, and you're able to find 44 yards in 2 plays for a game-tying field goal. I mean, come on. It almost feels like destiny to me.
Leslie Frazier is getting some head coaching interviews, Mark. Would you use what happened at the end of the game as a mark against him?
Yes, absolutely. Same thing with Kellen Moore. I think there are opportunities. And it's not only that, but like I look at you don't kick that ball off through the end of the end zone. Like the thing you do, they call them, everybody has different terms, but a mortar kick. So you kick it down between the 10 and the 3-yard line, and you make the opponent return the kick. That takes off 5 seconds off the clock. Even if they get a long one, it takes off 8 seconds. If you stop them around the 50, you got one play left. The fact is, you don't squib it there. You don't pooch it where somebody can fair catch it where no time comes off the clock, or squib it and they give themselves up and no time comes off the clock. You have to kick that thing down to about the 3, 4, 5-yard line and make them return that, stop them, use up 5 seconds. You're giving up whatever yardage you give up to take time off the clock. It was a colossal coaching mistake by Sean McDermott and his staff.
Fireable offense? How do you not know that? I don't get it. You're in football your whole life. This is pretty basic.
Yeah, it is pretty basic. And I think everybody, Tony Romo was saying it. I was saying it from my couch. You gotta kind of kick it to, make them return it, kick it to a point where you make them return it. And, is it fireable? No, man, they're a great football team and they should have won that. I just think they had a total brain lapse. 13 seconds. They were celebrating. We just won. Like, they quit coaching for a second. We just won. We're going to the AFC Championship at home. And you know what? And as Andy Reid said, breaking the huddle. I mean, one of the great lines ever. Hey, when things look grim, he said to Patrick Mahomes, "Be the Grim Reaper." And Patrick Mahomes went out there and was a Grim Reaper. It was a phenomenal game.
Do you think there's any chance that Josh Allen surpasses Mahomes? I mean, that was a performance of all performances, and Mahomes was ridiculous too. So it's kind of an absurd question, but I mean, I don't know. Allen's,
you know what?
Better.
This to me is becoming the matchup. It's like, you remember back in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, when it was Peyton Manning for Indianapolis and Tom Brady for the New England Patriots, and every year we got that matchup, and it was must-see appointment television. That's what this feels like. They play again next year in the regular season in Kansas City. It feels like it's going to be Mahomes, and it feels like it's going to be Josh Allen down the stretch. But I tell you what, there's plenty of other guys with Justin Herbert in LA and the Chargers, and then there's Joe Burrow, who is just that dude is just straight up Joe Cool. I mean, that guy is amazing. So there's a lot of great young talent at the quarterback position. Lamar Jackson. There's so much young talent in the AFC at the quarterback position.
Quickly running through it here. Chiefs, Bengals, it's a 7-point spread. You like Kansas City?
I do. I like Kansas City. That place, I played a playoff game in Kansas City. It's one of the toughest places in the world to play, the loudest stadium I've ever played in. It's going to be big time. And it's almost impossible to give up 9 sacks and win a football game. It's just a testament to Cincinnati. It's a testament to Joe Burrow. But I just don't believe you're going to overcome that kind of pressure. I think Kansas City will get pressure on them. I'm going with Kansas City there.
And it sounds like you're taking the Rams. That's a 3.5-point spread at home.
Yeah, I am going to take the Rams, although, I wouldn't be surprised. I think it'll be tight. I wouldn't be surprised if the Niners win that game. But I think Jimmy Garoppolo is one of those guys that's going to make 3 or 4 mistakes a game. It's, can you capitalize on those 3 or 4 mistakes? The Rams capitalize on it, they win. If they don't, it should be a tight one.
Last one, Mark. Can I get one John Elway on the way out story?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's a picture of John and I face to face in the end zone in Super Bowl 33. And it was the moment where we, realized, hey, man, we just put the final nail in the coffin. We ran a quarterback draw and we both fell in the end zone. And we were kind of face to face and we were pinned by other bodies. And there was this real poignant moment where he was looking at me and I was looking at him like, hey, man, we just won another championship, back-to-back world championships, really strong football moment. And he just is looking into my face mask. And I said, hi, buddy, how are you? and he just started laughing out loud. You see this big grin on his face if you see the picture. And that's what he said to me, you're an idiot. And then they umpiled and that was it. So that was he was just a phenomenal player with one of the greatest competitors I've ever been around. And a phenomenal athlete, man. Great, led us to back-to-back championships for sure.
What was he like in the huddle in those moments, fourth quarter?
John he just spit out the play. He didn't really say a whole lot. The only time he would ever kind of like if we got a play in late, he'd be like, we got to go hustle. But beyond that, he didn't say a whole lot. But there was this quiet confidence about him that no matter what the score was, you could be down by 14. He'd walk into the huddle, he'd saunter in there, and he'd be like, "Oh, we got him right where we want him." That's how you felt with John pulling the trigger.
Mark, great to see you. Appreciate the time. And yes, the Super Bowl package all right in front of you. We look forward to the big game here. We'll see who we get after this weekend. Appreciate it.